Okay, this is Algebra 2. We're going to do practice test problem 2. So, it says point Q is located on the terminal side of angle theta and has coordinates -8, 6. So, whenever I have a challenging problem, if there's a way I can graph it or draw a picture, that's what I'm going to do. So, this is -8, 6. Why did I do that? Just so I can have a picture to look at, so I can understand what's going on. Find the exact value of the 6 trigonometric functions for theta. So I hope that you guys would recognize that this, I think we talked about this in this class. Here, look, I have my slap bracelet. This is the positive x-axis here. So we're thinking of angles that open up. They start at the positive, they're connected at the origin, and the angle will open up. Like there's 45 degrees, there's 90 degrees, there's I don't know how many degrees, and down there there's 180. Okay, so I connected my point with the origin, and I'm going to make a triangle out of it. And then I need the exact, actually I don't really even need to know how many degrees this is at all, because all I got to do is find the six trig functions. Okay, so what are the trig functions? We have sine, we'll call it sine theta, we have cosine theta, we have tangent theta. Those are 3 trig functions. Well, there's 3 other trig functions. There's the not the inverse, the reciprocal function. So the reciprocal of sine is cosecant, and the reciprocal of cosine is secant, and the reciprocal of tangent is cotangent. Okay, here's the 6 trig functions. And they're all going to be fractions, you know, like remember opposite over adjacent or opposite over hypotenuse or whatever. Okay? Sine is the SO. This is like for SOHCAHTOA. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So I'm just going to look at this angle right here, and I'm going to ask myself, what's this opposite side? Well, it's going to be 6, right? So it's up by 6. So opposite is 6. What's the hypotenuse here? How can I get the hypotenuse? Because I don't really know the hypotenuse right now.
Well, I was trying to figure it out at home. I find the example for it. It says find the value of r, and it says r equals the square root of x squared plus y squared.
Yep. So that's just Pythagorean theorem. If I'm trying to find r, well, because they're thinking of this as the radius, because remember how we opened it up and it can swing around, so it really can make a radius of a circle. That's why they call it r. I tend to call it a hypotenuse because that's kind of what it is once you make your triangle. I just use Pythagorean theorem. 6 squared plus 8 squared, right? Because that's 8 equals c squared, and that's exactly what your book said, because I'm going to take the square root of both sides, and it's going to end up being the square root of x squared plus square root of y, or x squared plus y squared, and then take the square root. So what's 36 plus 64? Is it 100, I hope? Good. Okay, so if this is 100, c squared, so c is going to equal square root of 100, so c equals 10, right? So this thing's 10. We just use Pythagorean theorem or whatever formula that they have one in the book, a formula. And then so that's 6/10. Remember, because it's opposite over hypotenuse. So really you should write that as 3/5. So there's one answer. That's the sine. Then cosine, well, cosine's the ka of SOHCAHTOA. So that'll be adjacent over hypotenuse. Adjacent's 8. Now notice it's kind of like -8 though, isn't it? I mean, because it went left by 8. So really it's -8 over 10. So that's going to be -4/5. Okay. And then tangent is the TOA of SOHCAHTOAs, so it's opposite over adjacent. So opposite is 6, adjacent is negative 8. So that's equal to negative 3/4. Now, these reciprocal functions, reciprocal just means flip it upside down. So this one goes with sine, that one goes with cosine, that one goes with tangent. So just flip them upside down. Instead of 3/5, this one's going to be 5/3. And then secant, this one's going to be negative 5/4. And this one will be negative 4/3. I know, I made it kind of, there's a negative sign right there. All I did is I took these 3 that are up here and I flipped them upside down, made the reciprocals. That's all. Oh, I guess that's all. I don't know. Let's read the question. Is that all they want? Point Q is terminal side of theta, blah, blah, blah. Find the exact value. That's all.